to execute the test. Okay. In some company, before deploy the code into the staging environment, testers already start to write down the manual test cases because they have already this user history. They have already the prerequisite, they have already the dependencies, they have already the acceptance criteria, all those things, they have already this information on this function. So they can easily write down the manual test cases without seeing the function. Okay, and this is his skill. Okay. So what he will do, like he will like create a template. In the template, then he will just create positive test cases, negative test cases, like all the manual test cases, not the automation. Automation does not come at the first. Okay, at the beginning. Okay, so first of all, he will write down all the manual test cases. So when it will be deployed, then it's now visible. Like he can also, the QA also can now visit this function, execute this function, right? So based on the test cases, that QA will execute this function and check that if is the function is working as expected based on the user histories, based on and it's also accepting all the criteria based on this user history. So see, this is the power of the user history. Developer also, after developing the application, after developing this function based on the user history, developer will also check that, yeah, is it matching, is it fulfilling this requirement. So that means when you will write down the user history, when you will write down the all the things here, you have to think like that way. Okay, because as I said, these team members will rely on this. Okay, so QA will verify. When QA will say that this function has a bug, okay, there are two types of things happen when QA test on any function. Either it pass, I mean, in the negative test case, most of the time, they either they get the bug or it may be the requirement loophole. What is the requirement loophole? Requirement loophole means okay, I want here, like here is saying that products by ID. Okay, let's say I, as a QA, I am looking for with the product name also, but it is not showing me anything. Okay, so I cannot say it's a bug. It's a normal common scenario. It's a normal thing that if I search with the product ID, I should be able to also get the product with the product name also. It's common. As a QA, I know this. Okay, but here if I give the ID, it's fine, but if I give the name, it is not showing me any product. So will I say it's a bug? No, I will not say it's a bug. It's called the requirement loophole because that thing is not included in the requirement, not included into the user history. So if it is not included in the user history, developer will not develop that thing. Developer also knows this. Okay, yeah, if the seller should also get the product with the product name. Okay, but developer will not add that because that thing is not written in the user history. Why he will add that? Okay, so QA will like find the bug that okay, he will read all those things very carefully, very precisely, and then execute the function. And after executing, he will check that, yeah, if it is working fine or not based on this. If it is if he gets bug, then just he will follow the bug life cycle. I mean, open the bug, then assign to the bug, then the bug will be like a developer will fix it again, then developer will push the code again, then the deploy and will be happen again, then the tester will retest again. Then if it is checked there it's fine, then it will close the bug. This is the bug life cycle, we already know. So this is the circumstance, this is the like circle will happen like the whole journey of this project. Okay, then after like so when the API testing is come, okay, so API testing is come like when developer backend developer, first of all front end in some company they hire full stack engineer. In some company they hire only different person, like the backend engineer and the front end engineer, different person. So front end engineer just develop the front end things, I mean the button, search bar, all those things. Backend engineer write down the logics. Okay, all the codes. Okay, all the APIs also. So when backend engineer will develop the API for this function, so what as a QA can do, they can bring this API into the Postman to execute or to do API testing extensively. Okay, so how to get this API information? Either they can get this API information through the collection. I mean, in some company they just share the collection, the Postman collection directly. But in some company they also manage like the Excel. In some company they will just use the Swagger. So what is Swagger? Swagger is a API specification tool. So what developer do? What developer does? Like developer, like here, all the API he developed for this application, he just added all this in API into here, so that QA or whoever wants to execute these APIs, they can easily get the APIs from here. Okay, because I don't want to get the API from the code. I don't need this. Okay, I just need the API and some information of the APIs to execute the test. Okay, so let's say we have so many APIs here into the Swagger. So, and also we have the documentation. I mean, the documentation means we have the payload, we have the endpoint, we have the title, we have the HTTP method, we have the like responses code, and we have like what it calls then also the payload. In the payload, what we are going to give, all this information we have here. Okay, so Swagger, in the Swagger we are not going to test. Yeah, we just test means we can just execute the API, we can just see the outcome of this API quickly. But what we will do, actually we will do the extensively into the Postman. So simply what I can do, you can just open the Postman. In the Postman, so here like why it's taking too much time. Okay, so in the Postman there's multiple functions are available, but as a product owner you don't need to know all of this, because this is not your job. If you know at least the basic things, you're good. So let's say here is the Postman. So in the Postman you can create a workspace. So what is the workspace? Workspace is a space where you can work if you break the word. Okay, so like in the workspace you will have hundred of collections, you will have thousand of requests, you will do a lot of things in the workspace. You can do this. Okay, so you can have multiple workspace you can create into the Postman. Okay, so simply what we can do, we can create a Postman workspace like a com. Okay, by the way, before create the workspace, do you have any question? Anyone? Though this thing is
No.
just repeating, there are so many show and tells are available. It has been shown so many times. So still, if you have any question, you guys can ask.
I have a question. So for the show and tells you did on this, did you name it like API testing show and tell, something like that? Or it's just by date?
I mean,
I think
It
it would
says
be
API testing in Postman, manually automation. If you go in the what do you call it, show and tell section, they have it. They have it in your language. They have it in English language.
okay.
so just to create a workspace, after giving, just click on the create workspace, then give the name of the workspace like ecom API testing agile PO. then personal, then create workspace, then create collection. So what is the collection? Just if you ask me that what is the collection, collection is nothing, just like in the drive, in our computer, in our drive, what we do, we just have multiple folders so that we can keep organize our files into this folder, right? So here also the same thing, we are just creating the collection so that we can keep our request inside this collection. Okay, we can also just without create the collection, we can also like add the request here.